Long, long ago, in a time of gods and demons, there lived a very powerful king named Hiranyakashipu. He wasn't just any king, he had a boon, a very special blessing that made him impossible to kill. The very special boon of Hiranyakashipu was that he cannot be killed not in the day, not in the night, not by a man, not with a weapon, not on ground, not in the sky, not on the inside, not on the outside. Because of this boon, Hiranyakashipu felt very powerful and unstoppable. Very proud of his power, he declared himself God. He demanded that everyone in the kingdom and all around should worship him.
I am the greatest. I am God. Everyone worship me.
And people all around were too afraid to say no. They were very scared of the king. But inside his own palace, there was one small voice that refused to listen. His son, Prahlad. Prahlad was just a little child. He was soft, gentle, and very kind.
There is only one God, Lord Vishnu.
Little Prahlad was a big devotee of Lord Vishnu. This made the king very furious. He tried to change Prahlad. He sent him to strict teachers.
Teach Prahlada to forget Vishnu. He should only worship me.
But little Prahlad did something very unexpected. Instead of learning their lessons,
Close
he
your
started
eyes
teaching
and feel
other
him in your
children
heart.
how to pray to Lord Vishnu. When the king found out, his anger turned into rage.
If you won't listen, then you will be punished.
And then began the tests. The cruel, terrifying tests. Little Prahlad was thrown into the fire, but he did not burn. Poison was given to him, but it did not harm him. Wild animals were sent, but they could not even touch him. He was pushed from mountains, thrown into the oceans, trapped with snakes. But every time, Prahlad simply closed his eyes and prayed to Lord Vishnu. And every time, he was safe. Not because he was strong, but because his faith was strong. Finally, one day, King Hiranyakashipu had had enough. He called little Prahlad into his grand hall. He pointed to a pillar and shouted,
If your God is everywhere, is he in this pillar too?
Prahlad looked at him without fear and said, Yes, he is everywhere.
Yes, he is everywhere.
And that was it. To prove his point that Lord Vishnu was not inside the pillar, the king Hiranyakashipu raised his sword and struck the pillar. The pillar split open. A thunderous roar filled the air. And out of the pillar came something that no one had seen before. Narasimha. Half man, half lion, eyes blazing, power unstoppable. Narasimha was none other than Lord Vishnu. Yes, Lord Vishnu had taken the form of Narasimha. In a flash, he grabbed the king and put him on his lap. With his claws, he ended the king on his lap. You must be wondering about the king's special boon. Lord Vishnu had found a way around it. The killing of Hiranyakashipu had occurred during twilight. Not in the day, not at night. It occurred on the threshold of his palace. Not inside, not outside. He was killed with Narasimha's claws. Not by a man, not with a weapon. He was killed not on the ground, not in the sky, but on Narasimha's lap. There was pure silence, and the storm was over. There stood our little Prahlad, watching all of this. Looking at everything that had just happened, he folded his hands and started praying.
Lord, please forgive my father.
Even after everything, his heart held no anger at all. It was just full of love. Narasimha smiled and said,
Ask for anything, my child.
Little Prahlad shook his head and said, I don't want riches or power.
I don't want riches or power. I just want to always love you the way I do now.
And that's exactly what he was given. Prahlad became a great king, not feared, but loved. And this was because he ruled with something stronger than power. It was faith. So, friends, a little question for you. If you had to choose between being true to yourself or being accepted, what would you choose? And that's the end of our talk tale. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe only to Talk Tales. Stories old, lessons gold. Welcome to the world of Talk Tales.